said in the last video, I'm going to be doing a second part to a story that I've already told. It's about me going on a Tinder date. It's the only Tinder date girl that I ever met up with. And, after that, I was like, I'm done with this app. I don't really want any part of it. It's cool. Everything was cool. Nothing was wrong with the night. It's just, I feel like it's kind of forced. Now, I don't really like that about it. I mean, yeah, anyways, I haven't ever re-downloaded the app since this occurrence. And if y'all want to watch part one, you can. It doesn't really matter because they're kind of completely separate. And yeah, I do apologize about the bad viewing experience and everything in that video, if any of you've watched it. I have a tripod now. That's what my phone's sitting on right now. And I'm gonna make sure that all my videos are a lot more pleasing to view rather than like some terrible ass angle. But the main point was I just wanted people to listen to what I had to say and hear me talk and everything. So with that out of the way, yeah, I'm gonna tell you about me being at my Tinder date's lake house out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, so we'd made dinner, we'd been drinking a little bit. I'd say I drank about 6 beers. I brought 12 with me. There's no way I was drinking 12 beers. I just brought enough. And whatever she was drinking, I don't know. She might have been drinking the beers too. I really have no clue. But we're watching Simpsons on the TV. We're chilling. We end up going downstairs to her bedroom. Afterwards, we leave the bedroom. We go through the basement. And as we're walking through the basement, I'm like, I see this firework sitting there, and I'm like, hey, what's up with this? Can we light this and see what it does and everything? She's like, yeah, that's cool. So I get it, and it's basically just this little ball with a string attached to it, like all fireworks have. And so we're outside there. I got the firework, and the reason we went outside is to smoke a cigarette. I don't know if I said that already, but anyways, that's what we're doing. We're outside smoking a cigarette, and I got the firework, and she asked me for a cigarette, so I'm like, yeah. And I'm already lit mine up. I got it, and I'm like, here, let me show you a trick. So with my cigarette, I light hers, you know what I mean? I don't know if y'all know that you could do that, but it was just something dumb, you know what I mean? And so yeah, like, I got my cigarette lit and she hits hers off mine, and we're sitting there, and then I get the bright idea. I'm like, hey, like, shit, I can just light the firework with my fucking cigarette. That would be so cool. So I immediately do it. I don't even think I said anything, right? So I have the firework, I bring it up to my mouth, and I'm like really surprised it lit immediately. And as soon as I light it, it's a firework that I'm holding in my hand. So I'm not messing around. I pull it straight back and throw it, right? But as I'm about right here, it explodes in my hand. And I still managed to throw it probably 20 feet. But the thing exploded in my hand. And I really think that it was the firework that messed up and it wasn't just my perception of time that was off. Because I mean, as soon as I saw it light, and the string was, kind of long, like it was a fair sized string. So like by the time I pull it back and throw it, I mean, it's no time at all, And the thing blows up in my hand. It's 20 feet out. It doesn't even end up going off. It's a dud. Like, we don't get to see anything. And immediately, it's the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. The worst pain. Because if you think about it, in your palm of your hand has got to be like some of the most nerve endings that you have in your whole body. Like, I don't know. I'd say your hand is definitely really up there with nerve endings. So it was really painful, and I'm smoking my cigarette, and she's just low-key freaking out, you know what I mean? She's like, oh my God, are you okay? Everything. And I'm sitting here like wincing in pain, smoking my cigarette. Like, probably trying not to cry. I know I didn't cry, but it really hurt. I probably could have cried. And so we ended up going back upstairs. we're like thinking like, what can we do? The smell is something that I will never forget. It's just burnt skin. You could smell like the nasty burnt skin from my hand. It was terrible. But first thing we try is ice, right? And I'm like looking it up as she's getting the ice for me and like seeing if that's something that I could do. But she brings the ice over before I get to actually look it up. And I'll put it on my hand for probably like 30 seconds and it just intensifies the pain, makes it way worse. So I look it up and make sure that like it's not gonna make it better. And it's like, yeah, do not treat burn with ice. So I'm like, okay, we can't do that. She gets a bowl of water for me. I put my hand in the bowl of water and that helped a lot. But like at this point, the pain was so intense that like I could have passed out. Like I wasn't drunk anymore, nothing. Like I was completely sober. But the pain was so intense that I was laying there and I laid my head down and I was like, I want to just go to sleep right here. And I'm sitting on a bar stool at the little bar that they have upstairs. And I got my head down for probably like a minute or two and I'm like, okay, I can't pass out. Like I gotta make sure that everything's good with my hand. Like I can't let this get infected or anything like that. It's gonna be 10 times worse. So she's like, do you need me to take you to the hospital? And I'm like, you know, I don't really want to go because I think everything's gonna be fine, but it's probably good if we get a second opinion. So that's what we do. We hop in the car. We're in the middle of nowhere out at this lake at her lake house. And I don't know, probably 30 minutes I'd say in the car until we get to the hospital, which is some hospital I could not name you and I will probably never ever hear of again. Like it wasn't a huge hospital, nothing like that. So I sit down, oh wait, in the car, she mentions in the glove box that she has a dab card. And like maybe that'll help me with the pain. So I mean I'm hitting this thing. I probably hit it 20 or 30 times. And she went to school in Maryland and stuff, so like it's legal weed, it's good weed. It's a real cart. And I hit it probably 20, 30 times and it really didn't help much. Like the pain was so intense that it was just over anything else that I was feeling basically. And yeah, so we get to the hospital. I'm blasted now. And she's with me the whole way. She was a fucking trooper through all of it, dude. And I'm sitting there talking to the lady, checking in. You know, I give her my insurance card, stuff like that, whatever. They take us back to a room. Someone comes in. They check my hand out. And I think the first thing they do is they give me a Tylenol and an ibuprofen. And the thing is, one of them goes through your kidney and the other one goes through your liver, so it's like double painkiller. So that's what they give me, and they sent me home with that as well. But then the lady's like, we want to do an x-ray on your hand. I don't think she said x-ray to begin with. She just said, can you come with me? So the girl's sitting in the room and I go with the nurse or whatever, and we get about halfway down the hall and I'm like, wait, what are we doing? Like, she's like, we're gonna do an x-ray. And I'm like, an x-ray for what? For my hand? She's like, yeah. I'm like, why do I need an x-ray? That doesn't make any sense. She's like, just to make sure, just to be cautious or whatever, something like that. And like we're both walking and I'm like, I don't want to do it. And she's like, come on, we need to x-ray your hand. So like I literally, as we're walking down this hallway side by side, right, I cut off in front of her like this and like go face to face. I'm like, look, I'm not paying for an x-ray. I'm not doing an x-ray. And she's like, you know, trying to get me to do it and whatever. And like eventually we're just like, she just agrees with me. She's like, okay, that's fine, that's your choice, we won't do the x-ray. So take me back to the room. I don't know if they'd already put the cream on or not, but they give me this cream to wipe on my hand that's like cooling and soothing, and it helps a lot. And you know, we have to wait to like actually check out, like another person comes in, so we're waiting for them at this point, and we're just sitting in the room, me and the girl, and I'm like, hey, thank you so much for everything, I'm really sorry that we had to come to the hospital and whatnot. And she's totally cool with it. She's like, no, it's fine, you know, the whole deal, like everything was great. She like I said, she's a trooper with it. And yeah, we go back to her lake house, and at this point it's late. We're both tired, so we lay down in her bed. I have my arm laying off the bed, and I pass out pretty quick. Wake up the next morning, and basically the next morning was like my hand was burnt. So the way I would describe it is the skin was like an old crusty man's or something. You know what I mean? Like it was rough to touch now. Like it was like singed kind of, and you could still smell that nasty ass smell from where it burnt my skin off. And then we went back to Morgantown up to her apartment, and I think I stayed with a friend for like 2 days up there, and then end up getting home. However, I got home. I don't think I had a car at that point, so I probably had my grandma come pick me up. I don't really know. But yeah, I didn't want to go straight home to my grandma and be like, her notice my hand or whatever, just to not have her worried and everything. You guys know how that is. But that's the story.